Hello everyone. I'm doing my first live video to promote my article I just wrote a little bit. I'm also starting a series. That is the first of 100 lessons that can be learned from Samuel's story. And believe me, those were some painful lessons that I've learned, but I believe that if I can share those lessons, that will help to make the world a better place and protect children from the abuse that is out there in this world. Before I start that, I just wanted to show you my pond right here. I'm going to feed the fish. You can see my fish and my turtles. This is something I built really after about a year of grieving. I laid in bed for almost a year and it hurt so bad. But I finally went in the backyard and started digging, and this is what this turned into. I don't know if you guys can see my turtles and my koi, but this is what I've done to help me get through my hard times, is to build this pond and to take care of the fish and turtles that are in it. But back to the first lesson of 100 lessons that I'm going to be giving over the next few weeks or months. I'm not sure how long it'll take, but believe it or not, it's going to be easy to get to 100. I've learned more than 100 lessons from what happened to my son. But the number one lesson is to not call anybody a faggot. I have no doubt that that is the number one reason that my son was harmed. I know that that abuse, and it went on for months, it weighed on him. In my effort to try to get that message out, I actually did write Elder Rasband. He's on the Utah's Suicide Awareness Board task force. And since he was on that, I chose to write him. And this is what I wrote him, which is something I'll post on my Facebook page as soon as I'm done with this video. I'm just going to read the first part of it, and you guys can read the rest of it afterwards. Elder Rasband, I have chosen to write you because of your position on the governor's panel exploring ways to reduce teen suicide. Reducing teen suicide is something that requires more than just talking about it. And that seems to be all what the church leaders want to do, is just talk about it. And that's just not enough. Reducing teen suicide is something you must do. Although I could write a book on suggestions of things the church could do to reduce teen suicide, I will reduce those suggestions here down to one. In a nutshell, make the use of the word faggot grounds for discipline with the bishop, a cultural taboo. You know, I actually did spend almost 2 years meeting with church leaders, and one of the big points I kept telling them is that abuse should be taken just as serious as the law of chastity or the word of wisdom. I stressed that to them over and over again, but they just never could quite understand how damaging abuse is. You know, as you read the article, one point you'll see is that I make in that is that the use of the word faggot, and one child calling another child that word, is the number one word that will spark a teen suicide. I read every teen suicide story I could read for months, and that word seemed to come up over and over and over again. And for the girls, it was calling them either a slut or a whore. And all the people so many of the stories I know personally that with a teen suicide, that same word kept coming up. So what we can learn today is we need to make it culturally unacceptable to use the word faggot. We've got to quit calling people faggot, just as we had to make that change with the N-word. Even within my life, people said that word all the time, but that's changed, and it's wrong. And the same type of change needs to happen with the word faggot. We need to quit abusing these children. You know that not only my son was harmed by that word, I know how badly harmed he was. But also, the friend he brought to Scouts with him was as well. That very word almost led him to choose suicide as well. We can't allow that word anymore. You know, the problem with the church is that's all they do is talk. And about a week or two later, after maybe a month, Elder Rasband did come out and make a statement that we need to quit abusing the LGBT children and show some kindness. And this morning I went to look for that because I was going to post that as well, and I just couldn't find it. So the problem is they make statements, so they're on the record as making a statement, but it's so hidden that you can never find it when you go back to look for it. This is not acceptable. This needs to be broadcast in general conference, that using the word faggot is not acceptable, not something that church members do, and that is grounds for church discipline. Too many kids are dying of suicide because of that word. You know, even in my own life, I grew up as kind of a skinny, nervous kid, and one time me and a friend were playing miniature golf, and somebody drove by and yelled out the window, faggots, and I know how that made me feel, and it hurt, even though it was just somebody I probably didn't even know. I knew how that made me feel, and I know that how others are responding to that as well. It's so damaging. Well, I ask you guys to go and read the blog article that I just wrote, and to make a comment on that and try to help me promote that. It's only through conversation and lots of people having conversation that we're going to make a change. It's not just me or Sam Young or others that are going to make this change happen. We need everybody stepping up and sharing the message and telling everybody what's acceptable and what is not acceptable if we're going to make a difference. So I think that concludes today's, the very first of the 100 lessons learned from Samuel's story. I hope I did okay. I was a bit nervous coming into this, but I look forward to the second lesson that can be learned from Samuel's story. That should be coming up as my heart is ready for it, and hopefully we'll talk to you then. In the meantime, you can look for the rest of this letter. I'll be posting that on my Facebook page shortly. You can read the whole thing to Elder Raspan. We'll talk to you later.